We have tried everything we know, but Her Majesty continues to weaken.
It's childbed fever. I know because my mother died of it.
When it comes to Tudor history, we think of Henry VIII and his 6 wives, towering castles and jeweled crowns. But we also think of one more thing: death. Women dying in childbirth, children buried before they learned to walk, the sweating sickness, people simply dying from infection or fever. Even kings couldn't buy good health. Living past 40 meant beating the odds. But what if I told you the real killer was sitting inside their own homes, hiding in their medicine, waiting in their bedrooms? The merchant who finally affords sugar to show off at dinner parties, dead from an infection that started in his rotting teeth. The family that celebrates their brand new chimney, crushed when it collapses in the night. The man who trusts his doctor's mercury cure, poisoned by vapor while he sleeps. Medieval peasants lived in filth and survived. Tudor merchants lived in luxury and died young. The difference? Progress. Their dream homes were death traps, and they had absolutely no idea. Let me show you how comfort became their coffin.
Welcome back to History Untold. I'm Alex, and together we'll uncover the hidden secrets of the past. If these untold stories speak to you, hit the like button and join our family. Let's step into the past together. Chapter 1: The Sweet Trap. We're at the end of the Tudor era, around 1590. Farmers, merchants, the middling sort, they're building bigger, fancier homes. These were people with new money, and they wanted everyone to know it. Their homes reflected this new wealth. Timber frames, multiple rooms, separate spaces for sleeping, eating, and working. For the first time in centuries, ordinary people could afford luxuries that had once belonged only to kings. And the biggest luxury of all? Sugar. Throughout the Middle Ages, sugar had cost more than gold. Only the wealthiest nobles could afford it. But then Tudor merchants discovered something. If you use slave labor in the Caribbean, you can produce sugar cheaply, very cheaply. So, on the backs of enslaved people, sugar became affordable. Not for everyone, but for the middling sort, and they went crazy for it. Sugar arrived in cone-shaped loaves, hard as rock. Someone, usually a servant, had to sit there with a hammer and smash it into pieces, then grind it with a pestle and mortar for hours. This wasn't just food, this was showing off. Wealthy Tudors would create entire dishes made of sugar disguised as something else. Strips of white sugar dyed red with cochineal to look like bacon. Can you imagine fake bacon made entirely of sugar? They'd sculpt roses from sugar and cover them in actual silver leaf, real silver, on top of sugar, just to prove they could afford it. At the end of fancy meals, there was something called a banquet course, and it was nothing but sugar. Pure, expensive, status symbol sugar. Some guests would be tasting concentrated sweetness for the first time in their lives. Combined with alcohol, they'd be buzzing, literally high on sugar. They had no idea what they were doing to themselves. Deep beneath the Museum of London, Dr. Jonna Snare studies the remains of nearly 20,000 bodies, skeletons spanning centuries of London's history. And the teeth tell a story. Hold a medieval skull in your hands. Look at the teeth. They're beautiful, strong, white, barely any decay. These people ate bread, beans, lentils, and oats, occasionally meat. No sugar. Now pick up a skull from the mid-1500s onward. The difference is shocking. Huge gaps where teeth used to be. Massive cavities. Roots left behind where the tooth has completely rotted away.
abscesses that must have caused unbelievable pain. Some people lost most of their teeth before they turned 30. The Tudors tried to clean their teeth. They used toothpicks constantly, wiped their teeth with cloths, used powders and pastes. But here's the terrible irony. Many of those pastes contained rose water mixed with honey or sugar. They were cleaning their teeth with the very thing destroying them. For tough stains, they'd use ground coral or pumice stone, which stripped away the protective enamel, making everything worse. While you're feeling pleasure from sugar, acids from bacteria are eating into your teeth, creating holes, letting infection take root. And once that infection is established, the bacteria enter your bloodstream. In 1592, the Tudors started recording causes of death in mortality bills. The biggest killers are all there: plague, fever, consumption, and teeth. Yes, teeth listed as a cause of death. Can you really die from bad teeth? Absolutely. The infection drains internally. All that poison is going into your body. It can attack your heart valves, your kidneys, your internal organs. Without antibiotics, which wouldn't be invented for another 300 years, there was nothing to stop it. The Tudors had no idea that the sugar itself was the problem. No idea that what they were eating for pleasure was slowly killing them. But the biggest danger in the Tudor home wasn't what they ate, it was the walls around them.
Chapter 2: The Exploding House. Imagine a medieval home. One big room. Fire is burning in the center of the floor, smoke rising toward a small hole in the roof. Your eyes water constantly. Your throat burns. You're breathing in toxic fumes every single day. That was normal. Then came the chimney, and it changed everything. Suddenly, you had clean air. The smoke was drawn up and away. But it wasn't just about comfort. The chimney made new layouts possible. You could build walls, create separate spaces, individual bedrooms, a kitchen separate from the dining area, privacy, warmth, comfort. It was the biggest revolution in domestic architecture for centuries, but it came with a price. Starting in 1538, records appear of fires sweeping through towns. A great and sudden fire happened in the night season, which, within the space of 3 hours, consumed more than a dozen houses, and 9 persons were burnt to death therein. Stratford-upon-Avon, Shakespeare's hometown. In 1594, a fire burned down half the town. 1 year later, another fire destroyed the remaining half. What was causing this? The chimneys. See, there were no building regulations. Anyone could build a chimney, and most people had no idea what they were doing. Some early chimneys were built out of timber, wood. They were literally building the chimney out of the thing that burns. You'd light your fire, and sparks would fall against the back. The wood would catch. It would smolder for hours while your family slept upstairs. Then, suddenly, in the middle of the night, flames. But even when people used proper materials, they didn't understand the basic principles. Get the proportions wrong, and smoke doesn't draw properly. It sets halfway up the chimney, getting hotter and hotter. And then, the smoke itself catches fire. When smoke accumulates in a poorly designed chimney, the unburned fuel builds up as thick soot. The heat keeps rising. Eventually, it reaches the ignition point. The smoke combusts. Flames shoot out of the top. If you have a thatched roof, you can imagine what happens next.
But here's what's really shocking. The fire wasn't even the main killer. Dr. Stephen Gunn has spent years studying coroners' inquest records from the Tudor period, 9,000 cases, and he found something surprising. More people died from chimneys collapsing than from the fires themselves. Why? Because Tudor bricks couldn't handle the heat. Wood burns at about 1,000 degrees Celsius. Coal burns even hotter, 1,200 degrees. The bricks simply weren't made to withstand those temperatures. They would crack. The mortar would expand and contract. The whole structure would become unstable, and then it would fall.
There's a record from Kent in 1518. A fire breaks out in a house. Several men rush to help. Thomas Adams is one of them. They're working together, throwing water, trying to save the building. Then the brick chimney collapses on top of them. It wasn't the flames that killed Thomas Adams, it was the tons of brick and mortar crushing him. The chimney brought warmth, comfort, and privacy, but it also brought death. And if you survived the chimney, there was still the water to worry about. Chapter 3: The Silent Current. Here's something we take completely for granted. Turn on a tap, water comes out. Simple. The Tudors had nothing like that. Every single drop of water had to be carried by hand, usually by the woman of the house. She'd take a heavy wooden bucket down to the nearest stream or pond, fill it, carry it back, over and over. But that wasn't even the worst part. All the household tasks that we do inside, washing clothes, cleaning dishes, even going to the bathroom, the Tudors had to do outside, at the water source, which meant they spent a huge amount of time near ponds, streams, rivers, and wells. And that meant drowning. The numbers are staggering. Today, about 2% of accidental deaths in the UK are drownings. In the Tudor period, 40%, 20 times higher. Ursula Redsoul, 1556. She was washing a petticoat at a pond, sitting on a plank bridge. The plank broke. She fell in. She drowned. Elizabeth Bennet was collecting wort leaves, standing on the bank of a moat. Her feet slipped. She fell into the water. She drowned. Why was it so deadly? The water temperature in an English stream, even in mild weather, sits around 12 degrees Celsius. When your body hits cold water, the first thing that happens is involuntary. You gasp. You can't control it. And if you're underwater when that gasp happens, you breathe in water. Your larynx goes into spasm. It closes off your airway. You suffocate within seconds. And then there's the clothing. Tudor clothes were made of wool. Wool can soak up 1.5 times its own dry weight in water. When you try to climb out, your clothes weigh twice what they normally do. You're trying to pull yourself up onto a muddy, slippery bank. You're freezing. Your muscles aren't responding. Most people didn't make it out. By the late Tudor period, communities started taking action. They covered village wells, built fences around water sources, installed pumps so people didn't have to lean over open water. But the home itself remained dangerous in ways the Tudors couldn't even see. Chapter 4: The Trusted Poison. Let me tell you about Dutch scholar Erasmus. He visited Cambridge in the early 1500s and was disgusted by the floors. Tudor homes didn't have wooden floors. They had rushes, straw and hay spread across the ground, except they rarely changed them. Erasmus wrote that occasionally they'd replace the top layer, but the bottom layer, 20 years old in some houses, compressed into a rotting mat of spilled ale, fish juice, vomit, urine from humans and dogs, and, as Erasmus put it, other abominations not fit to mention. This was where people walked, where children played, where food was prepared. Disease was everywhere. Around 20 out of every 1,000 women died giving birth. Compare that to today, 8 deaths per 100,000 in Britain. Why? Because when women give birth, the lining of the womb is essentially an open wound. Any tears become entry points for bacteria, and with no concept of germs or sterilization, infection was almost inevitable. The coroner's reports tell us something interesting. People didn't always die from the accident itself. They died days or weeks later. Someone cuts themselves, 5 days later, dead from infection. Someone breaks a leg, 10 days later, dead from a blood clot. The accident wasn't the killer. the lack of medical knowledge was. Most people couldn't afford professional doctors, so families treated themselves at home using herbs grown in their gardens. This was the Tudor first aid kit. Every household maintained a section dedicated to medicinal plants. There's tansy, used to purge intestinal worms. There's rue, used to induce abortion. Lungwort for chest infections. About 150 different plants with medicinal properties. Most of our modern medicines are derived from these same plants. The difference is dosage and understanding. Then came printing. By the mid-1500s, printers discovered a profitable market: home medical manuals. Historians estimate that around 400,000 medical books were printed during the Tudor period. Suddenly, anyone who could read had access to thousands of recipes. At first glance, this seems wonderful, empowering ordinary people. But there was a problem. Some of the advice was sound, but then there's this from Andrew Board's medical treatise. For the palsy, take a fox with all the skin and all the body quartered. Steep it long in running water with mint and caraway seeds, and bathe the patient in the water. A dead fox in water. Bathe in it. If you applied blood and bacteria-ridden animal guts to an open wound, you were going to die. The fundamental problem was that all of it was pre-scientific. The Tudors didn't know about bacteria, about pathogens. Their entire theory of medicine was based on the 4 humors, 4 fluids that needed to stay balanced. Disease was just an imbalance, except there's no scientific basis for any of it. If your theory of disease is completely wrong, how can you possibly cure it? But the next epidemic would make everything else look merciful. Chapter 5. The Bedroom Killer. Starting in 1497, a new disease appeared in the British Isles. Dr. William Clowes, working at St. Bartholomew's Hospital in London, recorded something strange. Out of every 20 patients admitted, 10 had the same symptoms: pains and aches, ulcers, nodes, and foul scabs with corruption of the bones, venomous pustules, scabs upon the forehead, brows, face, and beard, and about the secret parts. He called it a pestilent infection of filthy lust, a notable testimony of the just wrath of God. We know it as syphilis. The first symptoms appeared on the sexual organs: painful boils, open sores. The connection to sex was obvious. Tudor towns had brothels, and these places became vectors for rapid transmission. Men visited prostitutes, then went home to their wives. Once you had syphilis, you carried a terrible stigma. The visible symptoms marked you as a sinner. In the Museum of London, you can see the physical evidence. Skulls showing what the disease did. The bone is eaten away. Massive lesions, holes where your face used to be. The infection could destroy your nose entirely, make you blind, eat through the soft tissues of your mouth and throat. People became so desperate to hide the damage that craftsmen created false noses, wooden ones, metal ones, anything to cover the telltale sign. So people sought cures, any cure, desperately. Medical books filled pages with attempted remedies. The sheer number of different cures tells you something important. None of them worked. Finally, doctors settled on one treatment they thought showed promise: mercury.
Mercury could be administered in creative ways, injected directly, rubbed onto the affected area with creams. There were even undergarments soaked in mercury that patients would wear against their skin. One popular remedy was Baxter's cream, a mixture of lard, beeswax, herbs, and elemental mercury. When scientists analyzed this cream, they found it contained 35% pure mercury. At body temperature, that cream released mercury vapor at a concentration of about 50 milligrams per cubic meter. The safe workplace limit today? 0.02. That's 2,500 times more concentrated than what's considered safe. You didn't even need to be the patient to be poisoned. Just being in the room was enough. Mercury attacks the nervous system. First, you get pins and needles, numbness. Then your sense of balance fails. Your nerves start misfiring. Eventually, it reaches the brain. Memory loss, dementia, convulsions, death. So here's what was happening. You'd contract a deadly disease. You'd be socially ostracized. You'd apply the recommended medical treatment, and that treatment would slowly poison you to death in your own bedroom, filling the air with toxic vapor while you slept. One doctor examining a body said he could see mercury quivering beneath the bone. There was no effective treatment for syphilis until the 20th century, until antibiotics. That's more than 400 years of people suffering and dying, many of them killed as much by the cure as by the disease.
The Tudor century was a revolution. New technologies, exotic foods, better housing, the beginnings of the modern world. But every revolution has a cost. The chimney brought warmth and privacy, and explosions and collapsed buildings. Sugar brought pleasure and status, and addiction and deadly infections. Printed medical books brought knowledge to ordinary people, and false cures that killed as often as they healed. Mercury seemed like the answer to a devastating disease, but turned bedrooms into poison chambers. The people of the middling sort built beautiful timber-framed homes. They filled them with luxuries their grandparents could never have imagined. They thought they were living in the modern age. They had no idea their homes were killing them. Some of these dangers were discovered quickly. Others took centuries. And some, like our ongoing struggle with sugar, are still with us today. The next time you see a Tudor house with its charming beams and cozy fireplace, remember this: those walls don't just tell a story of progress, they tell a story of the price people paid for it. Every comfort came with a hidden cost. Every new technology brought unforeseen consequences. The Tudors reached for a better life, and sometimes that reach killed them. So here's my question for you. If you could go back and warn the Tudors about one of these hidden killers, the sugar, the chimneys, the drowning, the medicine, or the mercury, which would you choose, and why? Leave your answer in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what you think. If you found this video interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden stories from history. There's so much we don't know about the past, and I want to keep on covering it. And if you're looking for more historical mysteries, I've got another story that'll blow your mind. Click this video on the screen now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.